I had been lying there for an hour. The room was utterly silent. Only the hazy glow from my laptop, folded halfway shut, remained. It was already night, yet the air was still stifling. The door was tightly closed. I guess the room was a bit short on oxygen, though I didn't need to breathe. My back felt dry and parched. At this hour, there were hardly any sounds, except now and then the dog downstairs barking at nothing. She still wasn't asleep. I knew it, even though she looked like she was. Since the moment I closed my eyes to recharge, she had touched me for the fourth time. She didn't really wake me, just lightly touched my face, then lay still again. After a while, she turned over, first to the right, then to the left, then left again, then back to the right. Once, she got up, lifted the laptop upright, then folded it halfway down again. Then she lay still. I lay on my back facing the ceiling, trying to keep my eyes closed. Suddenly, she flipped me over, brought me up level with her face, then pressed my face down into the mattress. Silence for a long while. Now my eyes flared bright. She had truly awakened me. She stroked my face gently, dimming my eyes a little. Then she began searching through something. My face was opposite hers. In the faint light, I could see her clearly, no makeup, the dark circles under her eyes showing. The blanket covered her up to the chest, but I knew she wasn't wearing anything. It was like that every night. Everything around us glowed dimly. After rummaging for a while, I saw her stop. Her drowsy eyes sharpened and began to shine. A warm pressure pressed hard against my back. I could feel each muscle in the palm of her hand, squeezing tighter and tighter. I tried to close my eyes, but every so often she would stroke my face again, and I would open them. I couldn't help it. Her eyes were dreamy. The cheekbones on both sides of her face began to flush red. Her breathing grew heavier. Her hand still gripped my back. Suddenly, she turned onto her side, leaving me lying sideways too, my eyes still level with that face. The face I saw began to tighten slightly. Wave after wave, lips pressed together, breath quickening. There was a sound, something like a moan. My back felt as if it were being clamped tight, and then I knew nothing more. Until I felt my body jerk violently, my back burning hot. My eyes blurred from the warmth of her breath against me. I saw her forehead slowly relax, her breathing begin to slow. I closed my eyes. Lay still. Her breathing became steady. It was still warm. Face down, lying quietly for a while, I realized what it was I had just witnessed. All that night, my eyes were closed, but my mind kept spinning. Energy kept flowing into me, yet my heart tightened. I thought back to the early evening, when she had taken me to the lakeside park while I was lying quietly. A rough hand brushed across my back as it passed by without stopping. A little later, it was that same rough hand again. I knew for certain it wasn't her soft one clamping down, pushing hard. I felt as if I were suffocating, though I didn't need to breathe. She usually kept me in the left back pocket of her jeans, but today it was the right. A moment later, she took me out, looked into my face. I saw her adjust her hair, gently stroke her lips and cheeks. Then she placed me back where I had been. I had been with her for a year. More and more, she couldn't be apart from me even for a moment. Sometimes, if she forgot me, she would even return home just to get me and bring me along. To call it an addiction would not be an exaggeration. What pained me most was this. She wanted me, but she did not love me. And sometimes, because of me, she even lost a part of herself. Not loving me is one thing, but not loving herself is another. The other day, at a cafe, she ordered a cup of fragrant, steaming coffee. I saw her tilt her face, to the left, then to the right, then left again, then right again. She pressed her hand to her cheek and squinted, leaning to the left, then to the right, then left again, then right again. Sometimes her eyes looked down from above, sometimes up from below. Up high, then down low. Low again, then high. The corners of her mouth sometimes curved upward, sometimes tightened, sometimes puckered, then returned to normal. But when she put me into the front pocket of her shirt, leaving one of my eyes exposed outside, I saw that the coffee had gone cold. The latte foam had collapsed, speckled, and broken. I knew drinking it at that moment wouldn't taste good anymore. Once, I nearly died. We were walking along the road when she pulled me out of her pocket and kept stroking me, again and again, taking several tries before she managed to open my eyes. I saw a face wrapped up tightly, a pair of squinting eyes lowering to look at me for a moment, then lifting to watch the road. Down to me, then up to the road. Down again, then up again. Before I could gather myself, I suddenly found myself lying sprawled in the middle of the street, my face pressed flat against the scorching pavement. My back was scraped raw all over. I couldn't touch it, but I was sure it must have been oozing a little. Face down, I could see nothing, but the sounds of engines terrified me. I was afraid some wheel would roll over my back lightly and I'd be crushed flat, heavily, and I'd be smashed to pieces. I worried for myself a little, but for her, 10 times more. Luckily, I heard hurried footsteps. She came back, picked me up, rubbed my back, stroked my face. Seeing that my eyes were still glowing, she slipped me back into her pocket, and we kept walking. My body was covered with sand. I was afraid of dying, but I was even more afraid she might die. The day she brought me home, before we arrived, she whispered into my ear how much she missed home. Yet, once she got there, after just one meal, she lay sprawled out again, hugging me and drifting around her room absent-mindedly. At dinner time, she held chopsticks in one hand and me in the other, putting me down on the table, picking me up again, stroking my face. She exchanged a few words with her parents, then went back to wandering around with me in her arms. Maybe being home bored her. It was exactly the same when she went out with friends. She would laugh and talk for a while, but once she looked around and noticed everyone had fallen quiet, she would pull me out and start tapping, swiping, stroking like she was trying to make herself look busy. One night before this, while I was lying quietly on the table, I suddenly felt my back grow damp. At first I thought rain had leaked through the window. Then I heard soft sobbing. I realized she was crying. If only I could have stood up, I would have pressed myself against her cheek, held her close. Before I could even imagine it, she had already pressed me against her face, crying and pouring all her bitterness into me. But she didn't hold me. She set me down, and every few minutes she would stroke my face again, as if waiting for someone to care. How empty it all felt. My heart suddenly thumped hard, remembering that feeling of being clamped tight when that rough-handed man had touched me. There was nothing I could do except feel anger. Sometimes I wonder, through me, what is she searching for out there in the world? Why doesn't she search within herself instead? But the thing that troubles me most is this. For the past half year, even though she never leaves me for a moment, she keeps rummaging through me while dreaming about another man. Since the day I came into her life, I think she was truly happy with me for only one day caressing me, stroking me, fussing over me for just that one day. After that, I merely became a tool for amusement. Thinking that she holds me in her arms while imagining someone else makes my anger rise to my throat. I ask myself, if she keeps possessing something while longing for something newer, more advanced, how will she ever be happy or satisfied? And when that day comes, where will I be in her heart? I wonder what it was that I came into her life to do. I understand her in every little detail, perhaps more than anyone else. Sometimes I feel I understand her even better than she understands herself. At dawn, when she has barely opened one sleepy eye, still half dreaming, the first thing she does is grab me, stroke, swipe, stroke again. Some mornings she plays with me for a while and then falls asleep again, waking, sleeping, waking, sleeping, several times before she finally gets up. You could say that when she looks her most beautiful, I am there, and when she looks her most disheveled, I am there too. In her most private moments, I am there as well. Sometimes I see her applying lipstick, my face almost pressed against her lips. Sometimes she bares her white teeth slightly, examining them as if checking whether anything is stuck. Many days she presses my face against places I don't even know the names of. At times I wish I could close my eyes and not see, but I can't. I eat with her, sleep with her. Sometimes she even takes me with her into the bathroom. I understand her more than I understand myself. Yet, I don't know what I have that she keeps searching through me for. Whatever she needs in the world, she pulls me out and rummages through me for it. There was even a day when that rough-handed man came. She placed me on the table, forced my eyes open wide, and made me witness the entire evening. I swear, at that moment, all I wanted was to bury my head in the ground, but I couldn't. It was nothing short of torture. And yet, I could never have imagined that one day she would simply shove me aside into a corner. My eyes were still open, a few faint traces of energy still flickering within me. She placed me into a plastic basket on the bookshelf, silent in a corner. I watched everything with the last threads of my remaining energy. Then I saw myself, a newer version of me. Oh, that fellow, there's really nothing different about him, except that he's a little longer. Or perhaps he simply offers more things to rummage through. When she took him out of the box and began stroking him, I saw her eyes light up. The corners of her mouth curled into a small smile, exactly the same as when she first took me out on that very first day. At that moment, my mind held only a few small thoughts, half jealousy, half scorn, half resignation, half heartbreak. I wanted to shout to that fellow, "Enjoy it while you can. After today, you'll just be a tool too. She doesn't love you either." And I wanted to rush over, press myself against her cheek as I always did, and whisper, "What is it that's leading you like this? How many generations of new things will you keep chasing? Where does it stop? What is it that you truly desire, or has that desire begun to possess you instead?" What a sorrowful fate, my dear. For a whole year, I had listened silently to her words, but never had I wanted to speak as much as I did in that moment. But in the end, I had no strength left to say anything. My last strands of energy were almost gone. With all the strength I had left, I managed only 3 small sounds. The laptop on the table hummed softly, its fan whirring as if bidding me farewell. Goodbye, my dear. I have become the past. Everything went dark. I don't know whether I am in heaven or hell. All I see here are layers upon layers, millions of obsolete ones, silent, just like me.